Hi there, welcome along, and in this video we're going to show how to model this simple mirror as a multi-body part using as many tips and tricks and features as we can. So if I just right click this top component and select isolate, you can see the nature of the joint. I haven't all the materials applied to it. It's a corner halving joint but with a miter on it. So let's exit that isolate, right click and isolate this component, and you can see the bottom half of that joint goes up squarely and the top half is mitered. So let's just go to a new part to begin this. File, new part, and we're going to start with a sketch of a rectangle, but a center rectangle, and we'll start on the front plane. Make sure you snap onto the origin and draw the rectangle, and at this point, just after I've drawn the rectangle, I want to get down here and select for construction, because I'm going to use that as the outline of the mirror, but I don't want to draw 4 joints, I just want to draw a single joint. So I'm going to use that as the frame to copy or mirror the mirror afterwards. So let's set this top line to be 400 and this vertical line to be 600, and that's going to be the outline of the mirror. Now in the same sketch, I'm going to pick up a line and very carefully snap onto the midpoint of that top line and draw a line across to the corner, and with the line command still active, go straight down vertically to the midpoint of that line and close the sketch. So despite there being a lot of lines in that sketch, the only 2 that are actually usable are those 2 lines I've drawn towards the end. They are not center lines, they're not construction lines. So if I go to Features and Extrude, because this is an open sketch, it doesn't contain area, it activates a thing called a thin feature, which means it's going to extrude that line in 2 different directions. So in direction 1, you can see it's currently set to 10, but I want that to go to 20. Let's make it 21 actually. And in direction 2, let's cycle that up so it goes to 40. And that's going to be the size of my frame. And of course, make it whatever size you want. I might actually just make that 18 or 20. Yeah, let's make it 20. So if you press the green tick, you've got 1/4 of the mirror, but I obviously want to have a joint going between there and there. So let's split that diagonally for now. Let's go to Reference Geometry, Plane, and I'm going to select the external corner as well as the internal corner, and there we go. It'll put a plane between those 2 coplanar edges. Green tick. Now that I have that plane, I can use it to slice these 2 into separate pieces. So let's go to Insert, Features, Split. The Trim Tools, that's going to be the plane. Then select Cut Part, and then I want to just confirm the 2 pieces. So let's just tick this scissors or floppy disk in an older version, or you could just click the 2 components there. The important thing is that the 2 components there are ticked. It's also important that you deselect Consume Cut Bodies if it's ticked. Make sure it's not ticked. Then press the green tick, and what it's done is it's split those 2 components into 2 separate solids. And up here I have them, Solid Bodies 2, there they are. Just for tidiness, let's right click that plane and hide it. And let's right click this bottom component and select Isolate. You can see that's that component. And right click the top and isolate it, that's that component. Exit Isolate. Now I want to work on this vertical component, so let's just isolate that again actually. And on the back, on the rear of the mirror, I want to start a sketch of a corner rectangle this time. And I'm going to go from the top corner there, down as far as there. And I'm just going to extrude that, so let's go to Features, Extruded Boss Base. Of course it goes the wrong direction, so I'll flip it over there. And I will merge the result and leave it at 10 millimeters and press the green tick. By merging the result, it meant that that new piece of material that I'm just after creating gets stuck onto this vertical piece. That joint is actually finished. That's that piece. If I exit the isolate, I can see that the other component, if I right click and isolate it, is not finished. That needs to have a little notch taken out at the back. So what we're going to do is use the Indent feature. So let's go to Insert, Features, Indent. The target body is the top piece. The tool body region is this vertical piece, and I want to press Cut, press the green tick, and it's now cut the shape of this component, the vertical component, from the top component. And let's prove that if I right click the top piece and select Isolate, the joint is now completed. So let's mirror those. Let's go to Mirror, and for the face mirror plane, I'm going to select the end grain there. And I don't want to mirror features or faces, I want to mirror bodies. So make sure you activate bodies to mirror, and I want to mirror that body and that body. And let's be careful to not merge solids, because if I select merge solids, it'll just weld or combine everything together. So press the green tick and it's made half the mirror. So let's do another feature. In fact, what you can do is just press enter. If you press enter, in many cases it reopens the last command, which is the mirror in this case. So the mirror face plane now will be this end grain, and the bodies to mirror will be all 4. Again, do not merge solids and press the green tick. And there you've got the mirror in 8 pieces. So now we can just stitch them back together. So let's go to Insert, Features, Combine. Make sure it's set to Add, and I want to add that piece, and the green tick. Now I need to open the Combine command again. So just press Enter on your keyboard. Let's select the 2 verticals to the left. Press Enter again to open the Combine feature. Let's select the 2 verticals to the right. And one more time at the bottom. Now this time, when I select the 2 components, after I've selected the second one, look at my mouse. It's got a little green tick on the right button. So rather than going over to the left and pressing the green tick, I can simply right click. It'll shortcut that for me. So what I've got now is the jointed mirror with the correct joint at all 4 corners. Just to show you, if I right click and isolate this bottom component, you can see I've got the proper miter joint. Exit, isolate. So let's put a mirror into the back. So I'm going to start a sketch on the back of a simple rectangle, and let's just make sure we draw it bigger than the opening. And I've got 4 dimensions, so let's just put on those 4 dimensions. Let's give it a bearing of 12 mil in each case. I don't know of any way to shortcut that, but let's just put in the 4 dimensions. And to the right and 1 to the left. And I'm going to do a simple extruded cut just to cut out the shape or route out the shape for that mirror. So Features, Extruded Cut, and let's send that in 8 mil. And there you have, it's cut itself out of all 4 components. Now to put in the mirror, you probably would draw a mirror a little bit smaller than the opening, allowing some room for clearance, but I just want to show you another way of doing that. You could start a sketch of a rectangle on that plane, but you already have that rectangle. So why draw it a second time? In Cut Extrude 1, you've got Sketch 3. Sketch 3 was the sketch used to cut out the shape for that mirror. So what we can do is go Features, Extruded Boss Base, and it'll try to use that same sketch to make the mirror. Now, there's a problem in that it's going the opposite direction. That's easy to fix. Let's just reverse the direction. The mirror is not going to be 8 mil. I want the mirror to be 5 mil. I don't want it merged because I want it to be a separate piece of material. But you can see what's happening in here. I think you can see it there. It's a little difficult to see. But the sketch is on that back face. I don't want the mirror to start there and move in because my route or my groove is 8 mil and my mirror is 5. So what you can do is, instead of going from the sketch plane, you can go from surface, face, or plane. And it'll keep that sketch that you've just drawn, but I can select this face, any one of those 4 faces at the bottom, that face there, which means it's going to take that sketch, it's going to start it from that face, I need to flip it again actually, and it'll send it out 5 mil. So if I press the green tick there, it means the sketch, although it was on that blue face, I can start the sketch on another face and extrude it up. Now I've got the mirror. And I want a small chamfer on the inner edge there. So that's easy to do. Let's go to chamfer. It's hidden in behind fillet, chamfer. I want that to be 3 mil. And if you try to select more than one edge, it won't allow you to fillet multiple bodies at one time in the one feature. So you actually have to put that on 4 times. So let's go to chamfer onto that edge. And if I press enter, it'll open up the chamfer command again onto that edge. And 1 down at the bottom. So I'm having to put that command on 4 times. There you have it. So you could also do the following. I'm going to put a different chamfer around the outside just to show you an alternative way of doing that. So let's just pick up a plane. In my case, the top plane will work. So if I hit the space bar, 90 degrees to that. Now remember the bottom, it's flipped it for some reason, so I'm going to hit space bar and hit normal 2 again. This is actually the top of my mirror. If you're not sure about that, you can turn on the wireframe mode. I can see my mirror is in there at the back. So this top component, that's going to be the bit of the mirror that I want to look at. So let's turn back on that view. So I'm going to draw the shape of a chamfer this time. Instead of actually using the chamfer command, I'm going to use this swept cut command. So just draw a little triangle that I want to remove from the mirror. And let's just dimension that maybe to be 30 if it works. Yeah, that'll work. And then the little vertical component, let's just make that 3. There we have it. So I've got a little shape of a chamfer that I want to send around, and now if I sketch a rectangle, just a regular rectangle from the top, oh, I'm after missing, let's try again. Just going to zoom in and pick that point. I keep missing. There you go, from that point down to that point. Now I don't have to do the feature or the command 4 times. Because I've got a profile, which is the little triangle, and a path, which is that large rectangle, I can go to Features, Swept Cut, and I can select, I better select them from the drop-down menu here rather than from the graphics window. It's more stable. I'm going to select Sketch 4 in my case, which is the little triangle, as the profile. For the path, I'm going to select Sketch 5, which is the rectangle. And just to be sure that it cuts from everything, I'm going to tick this box that says All Bodies. That means as the swept cut goes around, it's going to make sure and cut itself from all 4 bodies. Now, using the sweep feature in that way does mean you have a start and a finish. You do get a little split line there, but that's not going to come out on the drawings. It's not going to come out on the renders. It's just a little line that SolidWorks uses. In fact, I'm pretty sure if you go to View, Display, Tangent Edges Removed, that is now disappeared. So apart from that, that's all you can really do with that. You can put on some materials. I'll quickly go through putting on some materials. So over here, Appearances, Scenes, Decals. Let's go up under Appearances, expand that down. Go down as far as Organic and expand Organic down. Then let's just go to the Wood folder and I'm going to pick Beach. So after that, it's just a matter of dragging and dropping whichever beach you want on. So I'm going to go to Polished Beach 2D, drag and drop that on. And if you want to put that onto the whole body, just move across until it goes onto the whole body. And in that case, it looks okay. But in some cases, when you drag and drop a material on, the grain will be going in the wrong direction. Now it's easy to fix that. You simply click it and go to this icon, the Appearances icon, and go to that little swatch which allows you to edit it. But you get better results if you really want a good render. You get better results by putting on the materials one face at a time. So select Polished Beach 2D, drag and drop it onto that face, but don't put it onto the body, put it onto the face. And like I said a second ago, you can now click that, select the Edit Appearance, which is this little swatch button. And if you zoom out, you can use this little yellow circle in the middle to rotate the grain direction. You can move it by clicking and dragging anywhere in the frame, and you can resize it with that corner like that. So you can spend a bit of time putting on materials if you like. You also can put on a mirror appearance there. You can do whatever you like to it. But the bottom line is, if I go to Insert, Exploded View, and if I click that component, you see now in a single part, we've got a correctly and accurately jointed mirror as a multi-body part, in fact. Okay.